social media, electronic media and the print media was going on and on about the Mirissa incident as to how tourists have been harassed, attacked, and some say that they were raped also. I don't know how far that is true. And that was one incident, and there was another incident immediately after that in the same place where some Israel tourist has been subject to this type of attack. Now this is too much. If you are going to allow this, our objective of making tourism the highest foreign exchange earning service, we will never be able to achieve that. People will not come back to Sri Lanka. When the news goes around that tourists are attacked, their belongings are being subject to rape, nobody will want to come here. Of course, there are two sides to the story. The fault is not only within the area, boys and people who are around the tourist hotels in Mirissa and around, but also the tourists also must know as to whom they should deploy for their own safety for travel and guiding. So these are some of the problems, but the bottom line is whoever that comes to Sri Lanka as tourists, the responsibilities of the government in order to ensure their safety. That is the primary objective or the responsibility of the government, and the government has delegated that to the Minister of Tourism to ensure that all tourists who come to Sri Lanka is safe and they go back happily without any incident. So we have to depend mainly on the police department when there is an incident of this nature, when it is reported, to take prompt action, to take those people into custody, produce them in court and have them remanded. At the same time, as I said, if the presence of the police is seen in these problematic areas, particularly Mirissa and other coastal areas, then these people will not try to resort to this type of thing. It's important that the presence of the police in these areas is vital. I think the other day there were certain motorcycles and vehicles that were given to the police department, particularly to those areas where tourists move around. That alone is not enough. There must be adequate personnel that is being deployed in these police stations in order to ensure that tourists are made safe, and their presence in the beach front is also very important. For that, the tourist police must decentralize. They cannot be only kept in Colombo. That centralization is not advisable. It should be decentralized to those touristic areas in order to ensure that they have enough people so they can move around, do patrolling. And the very presence itself will give a lot of courage to the tourists to move any time of the day without any fear. So this is something that we have been doing. I am thankful to the police so far. They have arrested 6 people whom they suspect who are involved in both these incidents. There are some more to be arrested which they are pursuing in due course. Now these people who are arrested would have to be identified. I don't know whether some of those tourists are in Sri Lanka, whether they have gone abroad, or if necessary we will have to get them down in order to make sure that this will not be repeated. It's a very serious thing. Sri Lankan government is very much dependent on the tourist industry to have the highest foreign exchange coming into the country. So therefore, I would very kindly request, firstly, the authority, the Tourism Development Authority, to make a very strong recommendation as to how we should minimize this type of thing. Second thing, the police department to take appropriate action against all those culprits, all those people who are responsible for this incident. And at the same time, if there are unscrupulous elements in this beachfront, the highly touristic areas, they should be, I think, thrown out of those places. That is very important. If they are allowed to continue, we will not be able to minimize this type of offences that are taking place. Therefore, I am very much myself our secretary, our officials are very much concerned of the incidents that took place. We are very sorry that it has happened. We apologize to those tourists for the harassment that they have to face, and we assure to all the tourists who come to Sri Lanka, in future we will guarantee absolute safety with the support of the police. That is what is important. We have to give that assurance. The social media and the electronic media must report this to say that the ministry is very much concerned of whatever that took place and assures to all the tourists that they will be absolutely safe and their safety will be safeguarded by the police which are in the relevant area.